It's a bit breezy out here today, so you may hear the wind in the background. I'm quite liking this grouting under the cedar tree. And at the ready, I'll just put my gloves on. I've got my cup of grout and my squeegee. That's pretty much all I'll need for the edge of the bird bath. And of course, your finishing is what makes your project. I've taped off the bottom, all covered up so it won't get grout dirty, and also the centre. The grout mix is a fairly dry one, as it should be. So the dry grout people will be really happy with what I've concocted here today. So you can do your mud pie. I'm quite into these mud pies. Works really well with this grout. And then just smooth it on around your edge. Smooth off the grout and move it along. How neat is that? And I'll have to keep a close eye on it as I'm grouting because of the breeze. Might dry it out a little bit too quickly. So this will probably go off in its 15 minutes. Give it a nice little rub around. Make sure all the gaps have got grout in them. And of course, if you miss any, don't sweat it too much. You can always mix up a little bit more and add it. The major focus area for me as I do the grouting of the edge is actually this lip here, to make sure I've got a nice smooth finish to the grout around the edge. Just going to tip it slightly so I can see what's going on with the underneath. Well, I might just tip it all over. I've got the important underneath part done, because I'm not going to tile this bit. I'm going to finish it off as a terracotta one. And I'm just rubbing that right into that edge there and making a wonderful mess. Thank goodness I'm not inside. I'm really noticing the breeze. It is going off really quickly. It's doing what made pie grout loves to do. Set quickly. This is why people don't like it. They find it challenging, but it's why I do. All right, so I'm going to get my squeegee out, run it around the straight bit, gather up all the crumbs, pop them back into the mark. Because it's hazing over quite quickly, I'm just going to massage it till it's all pretty smooth. Even though I'm making crumbs, I don't care. I'm going to just rake those up when they're done. Going to put a wet rag over the top of this, just in case I need to repair some of it when I take it off. Well, that's hazed over in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to give it a very gentle wipe with a dry rag over the top, just to get that excess off and see how the hazing is going, but also the setting. You get a feel for how it's setting when you go to wipe it off, and it's still quite damp. I don't think I'll be using a damp cloth on this one at all. I think this will be purely a dry grout approach. I've got some lovely breezes happening today, but we can't stop. We're grouting. We're in the middle of grouting. So it's certainly been there enough time to, I'll just double check, yeah, it's good. So now I can take the inside layer off to do some preliminary clean around the edge. And of course it's going to stick to my gloves and drive me crazy. But it also takes all the dirt with it, and I can just pop all of this into it. You can see that already the edge is looking pretty terrific. And I had a hole, so I've got all the grout crumbs in there. Let me get rid of those. Now I've got my little dry rag, and I can just go in on the inside edge just to get any particular chunks off the tiles that are there. So just cleaning that off before it has its major clean tomorrow, which is the little scrubbing brush along with tile and grout cleaner. So now I can scrape off the bits that we don't want, the dirty bits, and reveal our tiles, looking for buried tiles. So gently if you're with tools, because it is still wet and you can potentially accidentally dig it out of the grout channel. And if you remember from earlier on in the videos, this tutorial, this was quite a big gap and a big shelf almost. So some people tile across and up, and it comes down to preference. Same with the edge, they might tile out and have the tiles sitting like that, but I quite like the little frame that my tiles give it. So I generally do that with most of my mosaics, just to give it looking like it's been framed. Let's have a look at the bottom. Turn this over, and we're on the home stretch now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this workshop, and I'd love your feedback on how much you did or didn't enjoy, what you'd like more of, what you'd like less of when you're seeing tutorials, because I sometimes do waffle on a bit. So I can just pull this masking tape off. My concern is the edge. The blue builder's tape or painter's tape near the edges, because it sticks better, it holds better, and it protects better. Some people use frog tape. That's a bit expensive in Australia. So now you can see how fantastic that edge is. I'll just give it a little wipe and see if we need to zoom in on it. How good is that? Perfect edge. So I'll continue on with that and do my cleaning up, and at some point post the final pictures. And I hope you got a lot out of the workshop and keen to make your own bird bath or bird bowl. This is where Groutzilla comes out. Arrgh.